Welcome to the New Life Podcast. Today I'm going to talk with Sam Wilkinson, who has been an intern here for about a month here at New Life Fellowship and New Life Ministries. You've done both for sure. You've cleaned the church and things like that. But we're not just going to talk about that. We're going to also talk about like his experience in teaching the Bible with college students at IU Southeast and part of this Christian fellowship, student fellowship that you're a part of. But before we get started, I want to do what me and Savannah always do. I'm going to ask you a question. And the question is, would you rather run on your hands or write with your feet?
It's a tough one. If I had to choose, I'd choose writing with my feet, because that seems just like I'd use them. I never see a situation where I need to run with my hands, right? My feet are occupied and I need to run with my hands. But I think there's a situation where my hands are occupied. I need to write something down. Boom. I got my toes, got a pencil. That's all I need.
Yeah. Do you think it would be, like party trick wise, you think it would be cooler to like show everybody, hey, I can run on my hands or write with your feet?
I think people would be pretty confused when I started taking my socks off and getting the pencil and paper. So probably the hand writing thing.
Because in this question, I can only think about in a scenario of just like a party trick. Like I feel like it's not going to really be useful any other time. But I think I would actually pick run on my hands.
The wrong choice.
Yeah. But could you imagine, like, I guess it doesn't really say, but if you could run the same speed on your feet as you could on your hands.
That'd be terrifying.
Imagine going into a race and the person just gets on their hands and starts sprinting. That would be horrifying.
That'd be terrifying, especially like for you specifically. If I see you running at me upside down, I'm running the other way.
Yeah, absolutely. But riding with your feet would also be. I think that would be a weirder, more weird, whatever you want to say, party trick. To be able to write actually well with your feet. None of these actually say whether or not you can do it well. You just can do it. But yeah, for sure. So, before we get started with all the things you've been doing here and teaching with CSF, just kind of share with those that are listening like who you are and kind of what you're about.
Yeah. So, like Phil said, my name is Sam. I grew up in the city of Terre Haute, Indiana. And then I went to IU Southeast down in New Albany, Indiana, out by Louisville. I went there for college, and I graduated there like a year and a half ago with a business degree. And I've got, 3 brothers. 2 of them are the same age as me. One is...
That's triplets if anybody's not figuring that out.
That's true, yep. They're both in the Air Force. One just got back to the States today. He was in Germany for 3 years, and he's back in Ohio today, so good for him. And then my older brother is in Alabama. So
do you know the difference? I'm sure you got to know the difference between.
That's what people always ask. I'm the youngest by like 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. Then the oldest one is Mark. He's the one who just got back from Germany. He's, I think, 4 or 5 minutes my elder. Then Isaac, the middle child, is about 2 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm sure that dynamic has always been like he's always been the middle child.
Yeah, he acts like a middle child.
Yeah,
even though we don't have a middle child, he is the de facto middle child.
Yeah, your poor mom for sure.
She's a saint.
Yeah. So you started going to IU Southeast. Like why that school?
That's where my older brother went, oldest brother. The one that's 4 years older than me.
Mm-hmm. How close is it to like where you?
It's about 2.5 hours southeast rather.
Yeah, so it's really not that far away.
It's far enough away from home to where you can kind of get out, move on your own, live on your own for a while. Mm-hmm. But also, pretty close to home.
So just like what's really the dynamic? Like, I guess why business degree? Because I always find that, why'd you choose business? You even know? Just choose it? Because that's how I would choose something. I don't know.
Throw a dart. So the plan was when I went to school, I had this plan all mapped out that I would go to IU Southeast, get a business degree, and then after I got my business degree there, I'd go to school for physical therapy. I'd already have this business degree, so maybe after that I open up my private practice because I know how to run a business because of the degree. So that was the plan running through my head. But God kind of flip that plan on his head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And he seems to do that all the time. It's never most people. Not I guess not most people. I don't know that many people that actually probably graduated from college other than my wife. But a lot of people don't end up using their degree. God, chooses them to do something different. And he may use your degree for whatever
I'm sure
he chooses and things that you've learned for sure. But so you've been to New Life now how many times?
This was my third time. I went twice with mission teams, week-long mission trips. Then I've been here with the internship this is week 4 now.
So what possessed you to now, like, you've been here twice with mission trips. Like, what really possessed you to come and do this internship? Now, you're not just here a week, right? You've been here for 4 weeks.
Yeah. I guess, like, those mission trips that we went on were, like, some of the things when I look back on, like, my college years 20, 30 years from now, I think what I'll remember most is coming here and working with the mission team with, Christian Student Fellowship. That's who I went with. Mm-hmm. And I heard about this internship program. You talked about it. And, like, I was like, oh, they're doing pretty cool work here. And it's something I'm interested in and want to learn more about. And I like to, come back here and, learn what they have and kind of really get a feel for how this ministry works. And spend more time here.
Yeah. So what have you been doing during this internship? Like, just share with the people, like, some of the key moments.
I've been doing so many things here. I've been doing so much painting. I still got paint in my fingernails and my hair and stuck to my arm hair. It hurts. Doing a lot of cleaning after Sunday service, vacuuming, mopping, all that kind of things. Helping out with VBS this week. That's been a lot. I've been down to the meal ministry. I was there today for lunch. Mm-hmm. I've been down there usually about 2 or 3 times a week helping out at the meal ministry, serving meals, talking to people, whatnot. Let's see, what else have I done? Sprayed for bugs, sprayed for weeds. Let's see. I don't know, all kinds of other things.
Bunch of small stuff. Yeah. The main one he's forgetting is probably the most difficult one I feel like we have done, which we did like 4 days since like when you came in. Like, it was like almost immediate. Is we stripped and waxed the floors at the meal ministry. So was that everything you ever hoped it would have been?
Yeah, it was that and more. I think we started at 8:00 at night, and then we finished when the sun came up, right at 6.
Yeah,
it was a long night.
Yeah, it was definitely the longest night that I had ever had stripping and waxing the floor with help. But that's because normally I only do half of the meal, not the whole thing. And we did the whole thing, so we were pretty much done at like 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning. We got Taco Bell.
Yeah, you broke me with Taco Bell. That's how bad it was.
Yeah,
I ate I have a rule about Taco Bell, and that is I don't eat at Taco Bell.
Real simple rule.
But Phil broke me.
Yes, because at 2 o'clock in the morning, it is the only place that is open in Huntington, Indiana. So you've done all sorts of things, You've been to some meetings that we've had.
That's true.
You've preached in
the
church. I did do
that. Yeah, I didn't mention that.
So just share maybe just a little bit about that.
Yeah, I was talking to Jimmy, and I was talking about all kinds of things I'm working through right now. And he said, "Man, I think you should go up there and preach one Wednesday. I got an opening for you. It's a week from today. Like, you want to do it?" I'm like, "Well, I'm up here, this brand new spot. I don't know any of these people. This is probably, if I'm going to do it, this is going to be the best time to get started in it." So I had a week to prepare. I did a lot of preparation, did so much. Yeah. Most of the stuff I wrote down I didn't even use. But I was over-prepared. But I did it. It's the most nerve-wracking thing in my life. But I did it. I was told I didn't say anything heretical. That was my baseline. Don't be a heretic and don't pass out on stage. Yep. And I succeeded in both of those.
Yeah. Don't lock your knees and don't say anything the Bible doesn't say. That's your only 2 rules ever. Like, that's still my 2 rules while preaching.
Yeah.
Don't pass out and don't say anything you shouldn't say. But no, you did a great job. If there's ever a time to maybe test the waters,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak. A lot of times it is good to do it on waters you've never been on, right?
Yeah.
In a place you've never been, people you don't really know. And Jimmy, most people that listen to this podcast know who he is, and know if if you give an ounce of, hey, and this may be what the Lord's leading me to, he's gonna test it, right?
Yes, he will.
And he's gonna give you an opportunity.
Yes, he will.
He's always been good about that. So with all these things that you've done, what do you feel like you learned?
Well, I learned obviously the practical thing of how to strip and wax a floor,
Yeah.
right? And I learned that I can survive Taco Bell
Yeah.
at least one time. I learned. Let's see, what else have I learned? Getting better at painting.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a mess, but it's a work in progress. I think one kind of big thing I've learned, right, is kind of like what service looks like, what good Christian service looks like. And that's like, it kind of takes a lot of different forms, right? Because usually when we think of service, we think of like, these overseas missionaries doing these heroic things and doing all these really cool things. We write books about it. It's the most interesting thing ever. But it's not always, interesting or glamorous or things you write books about or, make movies about. Sometimes it's, mopping the floors in the foyer area or taking out the trash or giving a meal to someone who needs it. It's just, a lot different than I think a lot of people think sometimes.
Yeah, ministry, like you said, is perfectly, it takes many different forms. God calls us to do all sorts of things. And with those things come lots of different things. When God calls you to preach, that doesn't mean that's all you do, right? That has a long list of things. Same thing with when going down to the meal ministry and feeding people. It's not just that, or it has a long list of things. There's cleaning, there's all this other service work that's a part of it. So you've got to participate in a lot of these classes that we do with the residents. What did you think about those? Anything?
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed being a part of those. I went to most of them when I could. But I don't know, it was just good being a part of getting to know everyone and seeing how unique each person's story is, but how kind of similar we all are to each other and how we all kind of need to learn the same things.
So you went to like goal setting. Did you go to the life recovery class?
Is that the one on Friday?
Yeah, things like that. Like, do you feel like you yourself learned anything from those classes? Like that you feel like you could take back? Or...
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to learn how to set, healthy, smart goals. And I did set a goal and I completed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I only went to one of the life recovery classes, and that was kind of a heavy one about like depression and mental health and all that. And it was kind of eye-opening to see it from the perspective of what the residents kind of had to learn through that area.
Yeah, and the reason why I asked that, and I'm glad you said, like, there, even though maybe you come from different backgrounds and things like that, there are similarities between everyone really when it comes to, and it's just by maybe even just a few bad choices in life that put you in a scenario where you need help from a transitional home or the meal ministry. And we all could take something from all of those different types of classes. But through all the stuff that you've done, like what do you feel like you can take away from ministry itself? Like how do you feel like when you go back to normal life or whatever that looks like for you, like what do you feel like you've learned from this experience about ministry, like serving and those types of things?
I think when I first, this is kind of a roundabout way to answer your question. When I first told people I work with I was coming down here, they kept telling me, "Oh, this is going to be so fulfilling for you. You're going to feel so good about yourself because you're doing that." And I was like, "Well, that might be true, but that doesn't feel like the reason I should be going down here. It seems kind of self-centered and me-centered." And I didn't have a good answer for why it was wrong, besides it felt selfish. But then through a number of different things, I've kind of thought about when I was down here, just being down here. And also when I was down here, I went through the book of 3rd John, written by John. And one verse that kind of stuck out to me has been rattling around in my brain for a while now is 3 John 4, where he says that he has no greater joy than to hearing that his children are walking in the truth, right? His greatest joy in all his entire life is seeing his ministry come to fulfillment. And I think kind of what I've thought about through all that is we don't serve in order to feel fulfilled. We serve because we've already have been fulfilled through Christ. We've been, made right with him. Because of that, we serve out of an overflow of satisfaction and fulfillment to him.
That's really good. So let's switch gears for just a moment, even though what we're going to talk about is also part of ministry. So we just briefly glanced over, like, talking about CSF, or Christian Student Fellowship, which is the mission group that you guys came up here from Southern Indiana up here to serve, and you've done that the last 2 years. So how did you get started in CSF?
Well, my oldest brother, right, the one who went to IU Southeast, he was the president of Christian Student Fellowship when I went down there, and he was actually the intern there when I was coming on as a freshman. So I kind of had no choice in the matter. If I didn't go, Brendan, my older brother, was going to tell on me, and I didn't want that. So I had to go every week. We met on Thursdays, had like a Bible study, then a meal, then like a traditional worship service, all student led. And I didn't care for it at first, right? All these people I don't know, this brand new situation. I'm moving away from home. I don't know anyone, right? But I kept on going because I had to, but eventually I kept on going because I loved it and I wanted to.
Yeah, what was it about it that you enjoyed it? Like, how long did it take to actually start to like feel like, okay, I'm in it, right? I don't just have to go. Like, I want to be here.
Probably like a year, I'd say, before I really felt like involved and like this is my group of people, and I made my own friends apart from my brother. Right, so it took a while, but I think what I like most about Christian Student Fellowship at IU Southeast is just how community driven it is, right? You see how faithful God is, both to that ministry, because we started off when I first went in like 2021, we had probably 10 people, and now we're up to 60, right? So we've grown exponentially over the past few years, and God's been really faithful with our ministry, and also just how Christ-focused our community is. I think our group shows unique unity because we're not unified on, we're not like a normal club where we're all unified around, what are clubs? I don't know, whatever, anime club or I don't know, another club. But we're unified in something that, everyone is a part of, and that's Christ, right? He's the foundation for our community. And it's just cool to see kind of what the Christian faith looks like lived out among your peers who are similar to you.
So what does it look like? Like, how does a person really get involved in, like, how does a person really get involved in CSF though? Like, you heard it from your brother.
Yeah.
But what if someone doesn't have a brother in CSF?
Well, we got like, I don't know, we're usually doing some, like, on the orientations, there's tables of all the different campus organizations. We got a table and say, hey, join CSF. Here's a flyer and a cup and a sticker and a pen and a flashlight and all kinds of junk you'll throw away. Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah.
So obviously you're not in college anymore. But you're still a part of CSF. Like I said, you came up here on a mission trip.
Yeah.
So like, what's your involvement in CSF now?
Yeah, so I stayed on as the intern after I graduated, because like I'm not going anywhere. I might as well keep on going. They like me, I guess, because they made me the intern. So now, whenever school starts back up here in August, I'll lead a Bible study before our main thing on Thursday. Right, that's every week. It's about a 45-minute Bible study. We'll go through a book of the Bible, and then I'll do serve on the leadership team and do a bunch of other stuff they asked me to. but that's my main job, is leading that Bible study every Thursday.
So did you start leading that Bible study as soon as you graduated?
I actually started before I graduated, because I used to my older brother led that Bible study, and then he left, and then I was just asking, like, hey, I wonder who's going to take over that Bible study, and Sheila, one of our campus ministers, she said, "Oh, do you want to do it?" I was like, "I can if you want me to." I wasn't, saying I wanted to do it, but like, if you need someone to do it, I guess I'll do it. It was kind of reluctant, but I did it.
So like okay, you said you're reluctant. And so how long have you been doing it now? How many years?
I think this will be year 3, so I've done it 2 years now.
Yeah, so you've done it 2 full years. Like that's a long time. Yeah. I feel like, to be doing that. Like what? Obviously, it can't be just because you were like thrown on it. Like now you had to have a different reason why you're doing it. So what is that reason?
I really enjoyed teaching the Bible, digging into it. Like, I think my favorite thing isn't like leading it every Thursday, but like the preparation I do, really diving into a passage, because we go through an entire book of the Bible, verse by verse. Like I've done, the first one, it was Colossians, then we did James, and last year was Mark, and we've gone through every bit of each of those books, and it's just fun diving in and seeing exactly what this was written for and what it means for our lives today, and being able to communicate that to a group of people and allowing them to see for themselves what the Bible says.
So why do you again, you've been doing it for 2 full years now, going on your 3rd. Why do you think teaching the Bible to anyone, let alone college student, is so important? Like, I think most people know it's important, but I think it's beneficial to say like why doing something that may seem simple is actually so life-changing.
Yeah. I think the reason teaching the Bible is so beneficial is because what I found is that teaching is the best way to learn, right? I think the best way to, you know something when you have to go and present it to other people, right? And there's a lot of things out there in the world, and I don't know most of them, but, right, so I've kind of been able to, through this Bible study, learn and help other people to learn too. I think learning learning while you're in college is such important, because that's kind of when you're setting the rhythms for the rest of your life, right? You're kind of building a foundation that you'll have for the rest of your life, and it's important to really dive in early and set those early so you have it to build on as you go throughout your college and then career and then everything else.
So I know what you're about to say because we've already talked about it, but do you think teaching VBS age kids is easier than teaching college age kids?
Not for me.
Yeah. I would also say the same thing. I like teaching young adults because to me, I just can relate better to them. But I think a lot of times, like, the perspective is different. I think when you're teaching those 2 different age groups, and maybe that's not a good thing, but for me, the perspective is, it seems like what you're saying is it's really setting those things in motion for their own lives, right? Like, these are the steps. Like, if you can get solid now, while you're about to take the next step on your own and be by yourself, no one's taking you anywhere. There's not a club for you when you're done with college, right? Like, you have to, like, what church am I going to go to? Like, where am I living? Where's my job taking me? Where's God calling me? All those questions that you have to answer at that age. It's a perfect time to make the Bible a priority in your life, because that's where you're going to search for answers.
Yeah, and one of the things I try to do when I'm teaching is not just teach what the Bible says, but also teach how to read the Bible and how to interpret it for yourself on your own. So the style I lead whenever I lead the Bible study on Thursday nights is kind of a discussion where I ask questions, because the best way to read the Bible is interpret the Bible is by asking good questions. If you're not asking good questions, you're not really digging at the heart of the matter. So I think not only learning what the Bible says, but how to figure out what it says is important.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like, may, what does a school like IU Southeast, like, what type of vibe does it give off when it comes to, um, I guess the Christian worldview, or just how is it like a place that's really receptive to like um does it seem like, I know you said you've grown, which is a good indicator, but does it seem like every year like you're just like more people want to join CSF when it
Yeah, so it's a secular college campus, right? So
Mhm.
there's obviously we're fighting against some other not so Christian clubs too.
Yeah.
But there's not any, for the most part, hostility towards us, and there seems to be like a genuine hunger for the Word of God, to dive deep into the Word of God.
Mhm.
From what I've seen.
That's good. So with all the stuff that we've talked about, do you have like any final thoughts, maybe for someone who um, is struggling reading their Bible, or picking it up, or maybe it's a college student that's listening that doesn't even know where to begin?
I would say just find a good, solid, strong community of Christian believers. Um, could be at a church, right? Ideally, it's at a church, right? CSF. That's not a
Mhm.
church unless you're in a church. But see what faith looks like lived out among your peers,
Mhm.
right? Strong Christians who are in similar walks of life as you, and model yourself after them because they're the examples that God's blessed us with.
That's good. So that concludes our episode for this week. Thanks, Sam, for all your hard work here at New Life, and you know, I'm sure this probably won't be the last time we see you. And through whatever means, another internship or just a quick trip in the middle just to catch up,
Yeah.
over lunch or dinner or something like that. But if you like this episode, go ahead and share. Like it, comment down below. Comment down below. Would you rather run on your hands or write with your feet?
The answer is clear.
Yeah, yeah. But as always, thank you for listening to the New Life podcast.